Hey folks, how y'all doing? Hope you're having a great afternoon. I'm fixing to go down and fungicide my tomatoes in the high tunnel, so I thought I'd take just a minute and talk to you about fungicides. And one of the things that will really help you now, if you're just a home gardener, somebody like that, you're going to need some help with this. If you have been raising tomatoes commercially, then you know all the diseases you can get, and you've probably done a lot of research on that. One of the places that has been such a help to me, now I've been raising blueberries for 35 years, and I can promise you I didn't know very much when I started. I work with the University of Arkansas, and they have all these professors that you and I pay money to. And we also, each county has a county agent. And you're paying his salary too, so you need to utilize those services. And they have a wide range of services. They're mostly really nice folks. And so over the years, I have looked online, I have gathered books, and you can find all kinds of pictures on diseases of plants, but it's not always that simple. Same thing with nutrient levels of your plant. Lack of magnesium, lack of phosphorus, not enough sulfur in the soil. A lot of those things look exactly the same, so you have to send some samples off. And I've done that more than once, and I've been doing these tomatoes long enough, I'm starting to get a lot of my own knowledge. But I want to talk to you just a little bit about the fungicides, and here's what a lot of you need to understand. Now, there's a lot of organic folks out there. If you're a home gardener, you may be wanting just to go strictly organic, and I just don't know that it's possible. It's not for me, but there is one that you can use that's pretty much organic. It's the closest thing that I know of is the active ingredient is called mancozeb. This comes under a lot of different brands and names, been around forever. It says that it's a coordination product of zinc ion and manganese. And it's got a couple other little kind of things in there. And it's very safe to use. It's been used on a wide variety of diseases for tomatoes and some other vegetables too. Now that one I would highly recommend you get. And there's another one. The active ingredient is called chlorophenol. Now this is called Bravo Weather Stick, and when I bought this 2.5 gallons is pretty reasonable. Although I'm only using an ounce of this per tunnel every 2 weeks or so. And that brings up the subject of switching, rotating different fungicides. And each of them have a FARC number, F-A-R-C. There's a code number, and it's the mode of action by which these fungicides work. And what you want to do is so that a disease does not get used to the fungicides you're using, you've got to be careful to switch around and use different fungicides. Now for me, I want to be successful, and I think you do too. If you're, like say, just a local guy, I mean, I've got a friend here, he's one of my best friends, and he lives down the road there. He gets the early blight every year, and that's because he doesn't spray anything. Now, I ain't going to put up with that. If I get a disease in my tunnel, I'm on it, and I mean quick. That's why I've got so many different ones. One of the problems I have, and it took me a few years to diagnose this, I did not do what I'm telling you to do, is get some samples. You can call, and even the county agent and some of the representatives from the university, the specialists, they will come to your farm. That is what we're paying them for. But one that I've got that will stop anthracnose pretty well dead in its track before it ever gets started, this is called a Pruva Top. And it's one of the strobilurin type fungicides, and I can't explain that to you at all. It's beyond my pay grade, but it does work. And like I said, the thing with diseases is preventative. Now, the New Age folks, they like to use the word proactive, but what you want to do is stop that disease from coming. There are some curative fungicides. One of them is, I've had this along the labels, it's called Quadris. And Quadris is another strobilurin, but if you get a disease, this does have some ability, not a lot, some ability to actually stop it and cure it. But here's what happens when you get a disease. A lot of those tomatoes that are hanging there, they're not going to be any good. So you're going to have to wait for them to die off or pull them off and let new flowers form. So you're losing production. I can't afford to do that. I'm actually trying to make some money out of this. And so you've got to be on top of it. I have, let's see, I have another one that I use for bacterial speck. Now, don't know that I've ever had bacterial speck, but it's one of the fungicides that I will rotate. Now this one's called Tanos. This is, I think I paid $450 for this jug, but it's going to last me a lot of years. It's a granule, it stores good. But I will mix it. I mix it with copper sulfate. This is antibacterial. And so if you suspect that you, or if you discover you've got some bacterial speck, you've got to spray the copper on there. Copper's antibacterial. So if you're raising very many at all, you're going to need some of this. Now, you don't have to go to the extent that I do. If you didn't do anything but get the diethane, and you can get that under several names, you can buy from Amazon. If you didn't do nothing more than get that and get some chloranthanil, and you can go to Wally World and get the chloranthanil. It comes in various name brands, and if you'll get some of that, and now it's going to be a little less strong than what I'm using, so you're going to have to read the label. Most important thing you can do is when you get a fungicide is read the label, and that's the reason I always spray late in the evening. One thing is I'm going to probably mix every other application insecticide in there. If there are some good bugs, or if by some rare circumstance a bee gets in my tunnel, and they just generally won't do that. But if I'm spraying outside, I also have field tomatoes. I don't want to spray early in the morning because the bees and the bugs are active, and the sun may, depends on what fungicides you use, some of them are phototoxic, which means that when the sun hits that on your leaf, it's going to cook that leaf. You don't want to do that. So I like to spray in the evening. The bugs are all home. I've got all night for that fungicide to sit there and do its thing, and when the morning comes, everything's fine. One of the things that people just don't seem to understand about a fungicide is that they are like an umbrella. You know, if you're trying to grow organic, I think you're foolish not to use a fungicide. They do not go into the plant. There is one or two, like this quadrus, that has some systemic ability, but most of them are just like an umbrella. They just protect the plant from the disease. Like you and I walking out there, and it protects us from the rain. This just puts a thin coating on there, has nothing to do with the tomato. It just sits there, and if it rains, you need to reapply it. But I hope some of this is some help to you. Do your research. Don't just take my word for it. Get you some books, read them. When you buy one, read the label. If you don't know enough, call your county agent. He'll come out there and give you some help on it. So I hope this has been a help to you. I'm going to go spray. God bless. See you next time.